everyone, welcome to our home. Inspirations by Jenna. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. So this premiere is about the effects of divorce on children. Live by example. First things first, I want to say thank you for the support for the previous premiere of Top 10 Reasons of Broken Marriages, where I have mentioned briefly the effects of it to our kids. But this one will be more in detail as to what will happen whenever our children sees or hear us screaming and yelling at each other and eventually separating. Starting with poor performance in academics, a child that was once straight A student will suddenly start to slack off. They would lose focus, they will get bad grades, so mom and dad will get mad and you will get called in the principal's office because your child no longer performing academically. Next, loss of interest in social activities, as simple as playing with kids their age, dancing in the rain perhaps, going to the park, even as simple as petting a dog. They don't want to do any of that. They would rather just be left alone instead of enjoying the sunshine. They'd rather stay in their gadgets all day, their cell phones, their computers, playing their video games all day rather than being outside. They will have a difficulty in managing or adapting rather to change because after all, they used to have one home with mom and dad in it. Now, because of the separation or divorce, they have two homes, mom and dad. It's a transition that will be hard for them to adjust. They might adjust eventually, but it will take time. Divorce is not an easy thing for a child to go through, especially for a country where laws are not in place. Here in the Philippines, it's only annulment. Without realizing, we have broken that kid's life or their heart into millions of pieces. We have shattered the world in one blink of an eye. That behind the wall, that child is listening with everything that's going on, that you have scarred him or her for life. That eventually, as they get older, they will lose that self-esteem, the self-respect, a behavior that will they'll carry till adulthood. That they will isolate themselves or feel isolated from the rest of the world. That they will feel the closure of being around people or getting too close to people. They'll have a hard time trusting people. Next, that they'll become emotionally sensitive or even defensive. Emotional and mental health is just as important as their physical health. So if the home life is an unhappy one, especially kids to be angry and irritable. Because that's all they know how to do is be angry. They're irritated with what's happening at home. So therefore they take out on their aggression on others. They will become what they call bullies. They exercise power, control over another. They don't want to feel that sense of helplessness that they felt at home. Therefore, it gives them a sense of power to see people suffer as they may have suffered. Because that's how they eventually develop their anger issues as they get older. The feeling of guilt that what's happening or had happened at home is their fault, that they wish they'd never been born. Why do you suppose child psychologists or child psychiatrists exist? The kids feel it's their fault, that the mom and dad did not love them enough to hold on to. Kids developed destructive behaviors brought on by divorce or broken homes. This is where juvenile delinquency happens, where young kids commit crimes, get exposed to crimes. They lash out, they act out, they will become rebellious. from being street gang, from doing drugs, petty theft, even to the point of hiding behind a pseudonym just to be destructive using a computer. Just after all, kids nowadays are smarter than you think. They're exposed to detentions, not detention in school, but a prison-like detention center, or what they call juvie. They become labeled as juvenile delinquents. We're in the state. The very first juvenile court was in 1899 in Chicago, Illinois. In Canada, it was first in 1857 and been amended in 1982 for the Young Offenders Act, where the age will vary from age 16, 17, and 18. Here in the Philippines, they have a thing called Boys Town since 1947. The purpose of safeguarding boys aged 8 to 16. Since then, there's been a lot of agencies or reform schools or shelters for that purpose, overseen by DSWD, or Department of Social Welfare and Development. Their job is to ensure that kids, that the street kids, from doing drugs or sniffing solvents, petty theft, panhandling on the street, getting exposed in the mercy of syndicates and other people. Divorce is not an easy thing to deal with for any country, regardless of what country you are on. Philippines, for example, does not have a applicable divorce law. Here in the Philippines, it's annulled. You practically say that you and your husband's marriage did not exist. In India, street kids are also there. Africa. In the US, it's 1912. The Children's Bureau will oversee the welfare and safety of children. In Canada, it is called the Children's Aid Foundation since 1891 in Toronto, Ontario. Different countries have different laws, protocols set to hopefully deter young kids from ending up on the street, for being what they would call a drain on society, for being labeled juvenile delinquents. But it's not their fault. It's the environment that they wish they've been exposed to. If they cannot get that love, sense of family, sense of belonging at home, they will seek it somewhere else. That's why they join gangs, live on the street, be around kids, homeless, living in shelters, getting exposed to drugs and other substances, relying on the kindness of strangers, getting exposed, and of course, getting exposed to health problems is even more worse if your kid has a pre-existing health problem. Mental, physical, psychological health, they will all get affected. Your kid would be depressed, in multiple personality disorder, anxious, that they will eventually, as they get older, loss of faith in marriage and family unit altogether. They'll be either a better adult version of you, would want a marriage who's complete, unlike their parents, or they just might, like I said before in the previous premiere, repeat the same thing. Babies can sense the outside world. They can sense if the person holding them, the people around them, are stressed or tense. What more as your child grows older? Your home, our home, is the very first exposure to the outside world. They learn everything and anything from the home. Interpersonal communication before they can set foot inside the classroom. Everything they've learned at home, they will take outside and how they behave, how they interact, how they socialize. If they feel isolated, if they feel alone at home, they will take that behavior inside the classroom, out or wherever they may end up as they get older. There's a lot of kids get depressed, fall into taking their own lives because they get too overwhelmed. They get too forced to grow up at such an early age. Just like adults, kids dream and deserve to have a happy home, a home where mom and dad, car, a home, a dog, perhaps a complete happy family. But sometimes life doesn't work that way. If two people cannot make it work for the sake of your children, then as sad as it may be, being separate might be the only way to go. To have that family dinner together. Every kid wants that. Everyone wants that. But the reality is, things happen in life, causes marriages to fall apart. We cannot expect our kids to grow up if we ourselves have failed to set an example to be grown-ups. If we cannot solve that problem of what's happening at home, we cannot expect our kid to be a good boy or be a good girl or stay away from drugs, to stay away from bad friends. You cannot expect that kid to listen to you when you have obviously failed to listen to him or her on how they feel with what's going to happen, the inevitable of their mom and dad getting divorced. They said it's not healthy for a pregnant woman to be stressful because that baby can sense if the mother is agitated. What more if that baby is born? You don't want to expose that unborn child to the cruel reality of divorce, to the effects of divorce. If you know deep down that you weren't ready to commit your trust, your love, your respect to one person for the rest of your life. Thank you for watching, and wherever you may be, stay safe, cherish the family and future family that you will have. Always remember, it is not about how fancy the wedding is. That's not what people will remember. Make them see how strong your bond is. That you not only stay true to your vows, but to each other. Keep God in the middle of your relationship and you will stand a chance. Whatever you do, don't blame your children. Don't make them feel it's their fault. Even if you try your best and the inevitable of separation does happen, make your children feel that they are the blessing, the best part that came out of it. They were created by two people who once thought they'd be together forever, and that doesn't mean you love them any less.